Welcome, listeners. This is the Dream Stream, and I am Yiskah Koock, here with my fellow dreamworker, Ellen Ronis. Hello, Ellen.
Hello, Yiskah.
So good to
Hello,
see
everybody.
you.
Nice to see you too.
And I'm glad you're dreaming again, because I think last time we spoke, you weren't having them so memorably or so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I am glad too. And yeah, I was just sharing with you that I prayed for some dreams and
Yes.
and received.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Beautiful dream incubation.
it's amazing.
You
Yeah.
ask for a dream before you go to
Yeah.
sleep. And this is in many religions and many cultures. This is a thing where the sages of yore used to write down their question on a piece of parchment, Jewish sages, and put the parchment under their pillow. And the story goes that then when they woke up, the answer would be written on the parchment. But obviously, well, or not, when they woke up, they would have dreamed about that quandary. They would have received an answer. And you know, life isn't always so simple. And so I like to give myself 3 nights to realize an answer
Yeah.
to my dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little while to put it all together.
Yes.
What the answer is, and sometimes the question isn't the right question.
Right. And that's, you know, that's really, really good. That's true.
Right. We have to be flexible in terms of what we receive.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what's really that's really the information I need, not
Okay.
the answer to that question.
Did you want to do that dream that you were praying for, or do you want to do the dream about our deceased loved ones?
Well, I definitely want to hear your dream.
Well, I don't want to do mine unless that's going to be like the theme.
The theme. Let's make it the theme then. Let's go
Okay.
for that. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be sad alone.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sad actually.
I know. So we share it with our listeners.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want me to shoot
Yes,
first?
yes, please.
Okay. So I'm in what seems like a diner, and I'm with my whole family. My parents. My dad is passed, but he in my vision was there. I knew it was just a vision of him, that he wasn't actually there, but I saw him there, sitting at the table with everybody else. My nieces, my nephew, my siblings were all there, and my mom and my friend Lydia was there, and she was sitting across from my dad. And my dad, I'm not sure if anyone else was seeing this or if it was just me seeing it. He took like a seed or a nut or something, and he gave it to Lydia, and he kind of put it in her mouth.
Out of his mouth into her mouth.
I don't know if it was in his mouth,
okay.
But it was very intimate. I think that's why I keep like making this gesture. I don't think he gave it to her, but there was something very intimate about it, but like not sexual, just intimate, like a connect. There was some kind of a connection that he, I don't know what, anyway, he gave this thing to her, and then everyone could see that she now had this thing in her mouth that she didn't like a second ago. Like it probably appeared like magic to them, but I knew that my father's spirit was present, and that's how I knew, because he did something that he kind of, I don't even know how, it's hard to even explain. Right. He brought the spirit world into the waking world.
Transported through the veil or something.
Yeah, and I saw that, and nobody saw him, but it was almost like he was proving that that his spirit was there by taking something in the physical plane and making it appear somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was Lydia or why she was there,
or why it was a seed.
And why the seed, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, why a seed?
I mean, for me, a seed has so much potential. It has the full potential of the plant it will become, or the tree that will grow here. You know, that there's potential to start something new.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did your family used to go out to a specific diner?
It definitely felt like, you know, I grew up in Long Island and diners are big there. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really big thing. People hang out in diners.
In New Jersey too?
Yeah, exactly. I know I got to Santa Fe. It's like, where's a diner? I just want to go to a diner, you
People
know,
eat around here. There's no
have some breakfast at a
home
diner.
diner.
Yeah. If you want a burrito, you can get that just about anywhere,
Yeah,
but
that's true. I'll say New Mexico.
no, not there. So, so that was kind of familiar. It wasn't, I mean, it didn't feel like, oh, it was that specific diner, but it felt like a familiar
Yeah,
diner,
yeah,
like a, you know, a New York diner kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, it was my family. It was
yeah.
pretty true to the timeline,
How old they are now,
in
or
terms of how old they are, which is unusual because we haven't been all together in, can't even say how many years it's been since all of us, including nieces and nephew, have been together. It's been a
was
very,
there
very
a
long
sense
time.
of how old your father was in the dream?
He seemed like almost, you know, older, but not as old as he was when he died. He was
Oh,
85, so
interesting.
maybe he was
Yeah,
like in his like late 70s or something.
totally.
Yeah.
I find that in dream visits with our deceased loved ones, they're often looking their most vital, not vital, but like the most vibrant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to share a dream also that I had in this time about my parents, but you know, they look younger. They almost have a shining quality about them. You know, my dad was wearing white shirt. His hair was longish, like it used to be in the early '80s. You know, and but still silver hair. Yeah. So
Hmm.
should I just launch right into my dream?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I had a dream that I was sitting on the porch, sitting in like a deck chair on the porch, and um, it wasn't the shape of my house. My house is a different shape than this, but I was looking at down and to the side. It's like an L shape. At the bottom of the L, there were these guys who were patching up the roof, that patching up a hole where there was a hole in the roof. And and so I wanted to walk over to them to tell them there's also a problem with the roof over my bedroom, which my son Phelan keeps telling me, and seeing if these guys could go patch that up next. They said yes, and then I realized my dad was there, you know, and he's not deceased.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
My dad was there. He was sort of supervising these workers. He was like helping me get this done, you know, just supervising. And then and then I went back and sat on the chair. And then I was like, oh, wait. And at the time, well, I won't go into that yet. And I was like, wait a minute, Dad's here. He's not in the hospital. And so I think I'm going to hug him. So I go back over to him and I give him a big hug. And then my mother, who is deceased, kind of steps out of a shadow. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing here? And I've never had that kind of response to seeing my mom in a dream.
Hmm.
It actually feels like a gift. It feels like a great gift. And
Hmm.
my mom is a beautiful woman, and she always had like blonde, windswept hair, and she used to put flowers in her hair like
Hmm.
all the time. I mean, and
Hmm.
listeners, you have to remember, you know, I was born in 1970, so there's a lot of flower child energy that comes, even though my parents weren't hippies. You know, they were goody two shoes. My mom was a goody two shoes, but so in the dream, I felt like, Mom, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here because you're dead. And I guess it was a feeling of like, I'm not relinquishing my dad to death yet. It's my feeling. And then I woke up feeling really bad about how I felt about my mom being there.
Hmm. Hmm. Was Did your mom, was the implication that she was going to take him?
The implication was that she was there to greet him, you
To
know,
greet him, like as in the pearly gates kind of thing?
dies, yeah, when he dies, she'll
Uh-huh.
be there to greet him. I mean, isn't that what we've heard? Like, it's your loved ones, and some people maybe see Jesus or, whomever, but or your loved ones. But there's an idea that somebody meets us after
Mm-hmm.
death.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. Hmm.
my thinking was she was there to welcome him to the afterlife.
Hmm. Hmm. And you felt sad.
I felt sad
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I've never felt like she shouldn't be here. If she ever comes to visit in a dream, it's
Hmm.
something I want and I long for, ask for. And
Yeah.
um, then to feel like, ooh, I don't know, it makes me sad. My dad's been dealing with a lot of health issues right now. And one of them is a paralyzed diaphragm that happens on a nerve. So he had cancer or has cancer. He had radiation therapy and it damaged a nerve, I think a nerve in his neck. And that goes like this is not an uncommon problem. It was news to me. I didn't know anything about this. But so there's an idea to put a what's called like a pacer. It's almost like a pacemaker for your diaphragm. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's a pacemaker in the heart, I guess, as you keep beating the
Mm-hmm.
heart, and a diaphragm pacemaker would, I mean, I don't really know. I guess the diaphragm like pushes the air into our lungs. Do you know, you're a body worker. What is a diaphragm?
Yeah, well, right. The diaphragm is really it's our breathing mechanism
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah, it
yeah,
kind of like it's like a little umbrella that kind of it's
yes,
like through our bodies like this, and it kind of goes like this and like this when we
yes,
inhale and exhale, and it kind of massages the organs when it goes down and lifts up,
yes.
and that's where the lungs expand. Yeah, and if the diaphragm is compromised, our lungs can be compromised.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
saying it's so terrible. So
Mhm.
tomorrow they're going to the neurologist to see what. But of
Mhm.
course, there's a fear. I mean, dad is what? He was born in 42. So in September, well, he turned 78.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess I lost my mom when I was 25. She was 50. Now I'm 50.
Mm.
I don't want to lose my dad.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just find that so interesting that both of our deceased
Yeah.
loving parents, came for what we both consider a dream visit. You know,
Yeah. I'm just
both had
wondering if there's, some other what do you make of the well, can I give you my hit about the hole in
yes,
the roof?
yes, yes, please.
Um Somehow when you said something about the hole in the roof over your bed
Yeah.
made me feel so vulnerable. I felt
Oh,
so vulnerable. I was like, I wanted to
yes,
cover up.
blankets.
Yeah, it's like you're suddenly exposed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and somehow, I don't know, somehow your dad is fixing that. Or he's supervising the fixing
Yeah.
of it.
So he also
So,
has memory struggles right now. And when I did tell him my dream, I wanted like, 'cause he can't tell stories and he can't talk much. He's not strong enough in his wind. So I
uh,
call him and then I want to tell him stories. So we can just be on the phone with each other. So I told
mm-hmm,
him that dream. And you were, oh, I didn't tell him the whole dream. I didn't tell him my mom was there.
mm-hmm.
But I said, you were supervising and getting it done for me. And my dad laughed and he was like, yeah, I'm really bad at stuff like that. I'm like, well, me too. So, but it was a nice connection with us. We
Well,
also
that's very sweet.
talked
That's
about
a
it.
gift.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, maybe he got to be like super dad in the dream.
And he looked so handsome. It looked like it was a dream visit. Well, it was a visit because he was in Florida or at the hospital in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a dream visit.
So is that why you said you were surprised that he wasn't in the hospital? Because he actually is in the hospital now.
Yeah, he's not right now, but he was at the time I dreamed that.
Okay, right. Okay.
He's not right now.
Mm. Is there anything specific that you want to know?
I guess I don't know. I mean,
It was just maybe a feeling kind of a dream.
I can't even say because I just feel so unwilling to relinquish my dad. Not that we've been in each other's lives so much over the decades, but I think my mom didn't die when I was 25. My mom died. She didn't die until it was Sukkot. I was sitting out in my sukkah, and I said, "Okay, God, take her home now."
Oh.
And I have to backtrack a little and say, when I was 17 and she was diagnosed with cancer, I shook my fist up at God and I said, "You don't tell me when she dies. I tell you. She's mine." That's how I felt.
Wow.
And then it was that moment when I finally said, "Okay, take her home now." She was in so much pain. Died.
And is that when she died? Wow.
That night. And at first I was like, I didn't mean right away. And the second thought was like, wow, I'm so powerful. But then the third recognition is that I was able to let go.
Yeah.
So she was able to pass on.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And she probably knew that,
Yeah.
She could probably feel that. Like, yeah. Oh, gosh. I can't. That's hard.
It's just hard.
So young, so young.
25.
It's too young. Yeah.
Yeah. Even 50 is too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not 50 is not too young to lose a parent, but
it is kind of.
What else do you remember about the diner? It is kind of anytime.
Yeah, I mean, we expect our parents to die in their 80s or whatever. We expect that.
Right.
Right.
What else about the diner, Ellen? Do you have any recollection of what anyone ordered?
No, everyone sort of faded away once the interaction between my father and Lydia was happening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so curious. It's just curious because it's even hard, it's hard for me to describe exactly what happened because I'm not really sure. It just felt like somehow my father gave her something and it was in her mouth and then everyone could see. But in the dream, I didn't notice anybody seeing that. I saw it. And maybe it was just a proof to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I saw him and I knew he was there and I knew he was in spirit, even though he looked totally like himself.
I just want to remind our listeners that we dealt with a dream of Ellen's some months ago that she was the only one who could see her deceased dog, Seamus. And no one else could see him. And then he made a sissy on the floor. And he said, "Will you see that?"
Oh, that's right. That's right. So funny. You remember my dreams more than I do.
I know. That's how I know people. It's from their dreams. Right?
Right. Exactly. Oh, yes, that's right. I was like, right, that's proof that he's here.
And similarly, the seed is proof.
Yeah.
The urine and the seed.
Maybe that's just another, when I prayed for a dream, this wasn't the dream I received, it was the day before, but when I prayed, I was praying to feel connected to God, to know that, I was saying, to know that you are there, to know that God is there with me, to know that God is with me. So, maybe that's just one of the ways.
Oh, that old prayer. Like for everything we do in our lives, we should have, we should ask for help from our higher power.
Sure.
Good.
Well, this wasn't so much help from the higher power as
Oh,
I want to know that you're there. It wasn't even like, I need you to help me with
okay.
something. It was just like, can you just let me know that you exist in me, or that you exist, because right now I'm feeling really,
Yeah.
really disconnected from that part of myself.
Yes.
So, maybe that was just,
Do you go hiking? Do you hike around those red rocks?
I just came from a hike. It's why I feel like I'm like a little tired. And that's why my hair
Okay.
was wet when I first got on the phone, because I took a shower.
I always
Yeah,
felt
I go
like
hiking often, like almost every day.
I always felt that that was my God time.
It really is. Although sometimes I could be very mind chattery on a hike.
Okay.
Sometimes it's fabulous. I'm so quiet and
Yes.
so with everything around me and just with my own self. Today was a little bit like,
Monkey mind, monkey
and I
mind.
actually stopped at one point and I was like, shh.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Just like this, like, fucking shut up.
Shut up. Just shut up, man. You shut up, man.
We're on YouTube. Oh no. Yeah. And it kind of worked. It kind of worked to like calm me down and like quiet me down. But yes, I do. And I love it. And it is like a saving grace for me, for sure.
1 minute. Oh, Carrie's calling. Okay. I have to take this. Hello. Hi, love. You're sleeping at Yannick? Okay, sweetie. Have a great time. Okay. Thanks for calling. Love you. Bye. So sorry.
It's okay.
So I was just going to say, so Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, and he is the grandson or the great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov is, it means master of the holy name, but he was a mystic. He kind of started Hasidut, all the Hasidic movements, is a Baal Shem. So his great-grandson had coined a phrase called Hitbodedut, Hitbodut, and it's just crying out to God. Out your heart and soul to God. And then he also had said other statements like the life force of the leaves and the flowers and the trees will help your prayer ascend on high. So that's one thing I always loved to do when I was in the woods, is just cry out to God, just pray.
It's funny, like I excuse me, I have been feeling like I really want to process in that really visceral vocal way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this stuck anger and just rage and I don't know, stuff. And I can't find the space for it. I mean, probably could do it on a hike, but I never know when someone's going to come around the corner.
Right.
It's not a very crowded area where I am. It's pretty quiet, but there are people here and their trails are kind of behind people's houses. So I don't know. I just feel really intimidated.
Maybe you could do it in your head,
here.
I said, maybe you could do it in your head.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's really, I'm very body oriented, like that, a physical body expression of things, like moving things through.
Yeah.
It's very dry here. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like we're in such a drought and it's windy and dusty.
When I used to live in New Mexico, I wrote a poem called Prickly Pear Extends Dancing. Can I share it?
Yeah.
Footprints in the rock, splinter in my finger, chill, shine, setting sun, do thrill me. Alligator, alligator, yucca, juniper, wind with ears, desert flower, bloom hardy, red. The air is clean, I do declare. Swift.
It's funny you put alligators in Santa Fe.
Well, I was doing alligator junipers. The juniper trees. There are near like Sedona are called alligator junipers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, and I wrote that when I was like 20. So No
It's so
judgment.
cool that you remember that. You have such
I
a good
do.
memory. Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
remember my poetry.
Oh, wow. That's so
And that's
cool.
another thing I would do on my hikes, which I
Hmm.
can't take anymore, or I'm not taking presently. But I would recall and recite all of my poetry because it's all spoken word. I wrote it outdoors, and I wrote it to a rhythm of walking, and so I remember it also when I'm walking. So
Ah,
that's another way to connect. I guess more with, with God, yes, but also with my deeper self.
yeah, your creative self,
Yes,
expressive.
yes.
Hmm.
So is there anything you would like to know about your diner dream?
I guess I'm most curious about why Lydia.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to explore that.
Yeah, like, I mean, and
Yes,
she was in another dream that I mentioned earlier, before
yes.
we started recording, but
Yeah, tell me about Lydia.
she's very, she's my friend that I've known since I was 13,
Nice.
and very, very long term, deep, soulful connection.
Yeah,
We don't always agree on some things, some
right.
kind of sometimes some important things right now, political and whatever things about what's going on in the world. But somehow our heart connection supersedes everything. It's
Wonderful.
just, it's kind of almost like it doesn't really matter.
That's what we have to all get to. We all have to get
Yeah,
to
it
that
is
if we
pretty.
want to
I
be
actually, when I
not
think
so
about it,
divided.
yeah, agreed. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
And at the same time, it's also very. I can get very frustrated
Yeah,
with
sure.
her.
Sure.
Yeah, I can get
How
very
can you
frustrated.
not believe what I believe?
Well, it's partly that, but also, she lives a very unique and different kind of lifestyle
Okay.
in a certain way than me. I mean, not it's not that different really, but she's my hiking buddy, so we go hiking a lot.
Oh, good.
But there's just I just some differences and
Yes.
things that can frustrate me, and there's my soul she's like my soulmate in a
Yes.
way.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
not romantic or lovers or anything like that.
Sure.
She's just my she's a soulmate,
Yes.
I
Yes.
would say, for
I have
sure.
found there's some friends in my life that are absolutely in the same soul group as me.
Yeah,
When you meet them and you're like, yes,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
stuck with
Sometimes
this
I'm just
person
like,
now.
why? But yeah, yeah, it's
Say it ain't so.
yeah, it's like, why this? But and we've come and gone with each other over the years, but we always kind of, it is just always something very sweet, and we've had a lot of laughs about goofy things, and very deeply she's very, 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 she operates, okay, here's probably the important part.
Yes.
She operates from a very different level of existence than
Okay.
most people. Like, I mean, I would say it's a very high spiritual level is kind of what it feels like to me, like that it's closer to the spirit world than
Oh,
the earth people.
really?
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's the way, I don't know, I'm not sure how else to describe it, but that's what it feels like. She definitely doesn't operate on the same level as many people
Yes.
here on the earth.
Does she live in Santa Fe?
Mhm.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And it doesn't mean I mean, she's got friends, and she's like, it's
Sure,
not like
sure. She's on
abnormal, but she's unique. She's very unique.
sounds it.
And, the
Yes.
way she thinks about things and how
Mm-hmm.
she puts things together, and um, yeah, her thoughts about things are kind of unique. And
Mm-hmm.
so something I think about where she operates from, like, so it's come up for me recently that I operate from the world, I've known this forever, from the world of feeling, which is
Yes.
wonderful, but also not wonderful, because
Not
I can get
wonderful all the
attached.
time.
Yeah, I can get attached to the feelings and think
Yeah.
that if I don't feel great about, like, if everything doesn't feel fantastic, then it isn't the right move or the right choice.
Okay.
And
Yes.
that is absolutely not true.
Right.
And I can keep myself really stuck and held back
Okay.
based on my feelings.
Yes.
So that's been pointed out to me, and I wonder if the dream has something to do with
Oh, yeah.
somehow, my father being in the spirit world,
Yes.
giving a message to my spirit soul friend,
Yes.
they're all a part of me, really, in a
Yeah.
sense too.
Yes.
And the message is
Exactly.
maybe to see things on this level of the spirit,
Yes.
maybe.
Yes. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So switching again to the dream I dreamed, I'm
Hmm.
thinking that it being on the roof, I often look at, and I've been taught this by Jeremy Taylor, one of our dream teachers, that if you dream of a house, it can emulate or be your physical body. So for instance,
Represent.
represent, thank you,
Yeah.
your physical body. So if I dream of a staircase, it might be my spine. If I dream of the basement, it's very likely my subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if I dream of the roof, on the roof, it's like spirit. It's like
Hmm.
the highland.
Closest to the spirit.
Closest
Yeah.
to
I
spirit.
kind of feel like I don't really go with so I mean, sometimes things are symbolic, but I don't really necessarily believe that like this means that and that means this. But
Yeah.
I like that, and that feels correct to me in my own experience. That
Yes.
the higher up kind of
Yes.
makes sense. That it's closer to, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's really cool in a way that, when I was saying I felt vulnerable when there was a hole over your bed, but
Yes.
maybe it's like that's good, that
Kind
feels
of like
positive.
opening like a roof
Yeah,
to
like a moonroof.
communicate with the
Like a
spirit.
soul, your soul moonroof.
The moon. That's awesome.
That's kind of cool, right? So it's
It
like an
is.
opening for something, something to come through,
So
maybe something new. And I also have this
yeah.
feeling that there's some other way to look at your mom and your dad in that dream where she isn't necessarily taking him away.
Okay.
I'm not feeling like that. If in
Okay.
your dream of my dream, in my dream of your dream,
Yes.
I'm feeling kind of like she's there to support you somehow in what's going on with your dad.
Okay.
It's not
Oh
about I'm ready to take him.
yes.
So
And the way she backed back into the shadows. She came
mm,
out looking beautiful. I think she was wearing like a pink, like spring sweater, and then like a flower up in her beautiful wavy blonde hair. And usually I am like over the moon to see her in a dream. It's like
mm,
amazing. It's amazing. It's a pinnacle experience for me. And this was the first time I was like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And she
mm,
kind of just went back into the shadow.
mm,
So
mm.
I think, so from that, I can glean that she's not taking him just yet, but fear not, because she will be there to receive him
She will
does,
be right.
when
She
he
will
does
be
cross over.
supportive to his soul and maybe to you too.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, thank you, friend.
Mm. You're
Dream friend.
welcome. That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's cut it short just because we could babble for hours.
Can.
As regular listeners to our podcast might know. So we're making a concerted
We're
effort to
trying to behave.
shorten this. So it's always amazing to speak with you, Ellen.
Oh, thank you. And same here. I love this connection, and I love being able to talk about dreams and to bring this part of our
Me too.
lives and souls, to each other and to
Yes. And
whomever,
hopefully
is
to
interested.
anyone who's, longing for dreams and don't even know it, and they don't even know they're longing for their own
I,
wisdom.
I wanted to ask you, for our listeners, is this space here someplace where people could call in or
Um,
join to?
people could email me on my Facebook page, The Dream Stream, just
Okay.
The Dream Stream. So, um, and then we can figure out, they can Zoom, anyone can Zoom with us. This is dream work one-on-one, but also we do a lot of group dream work, both Ellen and I. And so more the merrier. So if you feel called to work some dreams, um, email me on my Facebook page, The Dream Stream, and then I will get in touch with you.
Yeah, great. I felt compelled to say that because I was talking about it with someone,
Yes.
a random client that I don't really know that well. And she was like, "Oh my God, I dream so much, and that sounds like so much fun." And so
Yeah.
I thought that would be interesting.
I
So
think that would be very interesting. So
cool.
yeah, so anyone is invited. And
Yeah.
thank you, Ellen, and
You're welcome.
you, listener. Thank you for joining us. And in Hebrew, sweet dreams, holamod metukim. I, also, I know it in many languages, but I have nothing in my head, so I won't be. I might remember.
Bon rêve is what I remember in
Say it
French.
again. Bon
Bon rêve.
bon rêve.
Bon rêve.
Oh, I like
How do you
that.
say it? Buen suerte? No, I always
Suerte.
forget in Spanish.
Suerte. It might
Is
be.
that right? Suerte?
Or Shalom something. Well, check back in with us. We'll get more languages to say. Okay, Alan. So I'm gonna have to say
Okay.
goodbye to you, my dear.
Bye. Bye.